This learning objective is called the Unit 11 recap. We're not really going to learn anything new in this unit. We're just going to put together all the different stuff we learned in this unit. And this is kind of like, you could almost think of this as the Unit 11 test, because it's kind of putting all this stuff together and making sure that we can really do all of this unit circle stuff we talked about. All right, the main thing you're going to have to do for this actual learning objective is finding exact values of sine and cosine for any angle. Well, any angle that I give you, not any angle. I can't just give you a random angle, specific angles, but any angle that I give you. All right, so and this is why it's called the Unit 11 recap, or again, you can think about it like the Unit 11 test, because there's kind of three big things you have to know that we've covered in our previous learning objectives. The first thing, you have to be able to write out your own full unit circle. All right, so this was one of our previous learning objectives. I just gave you a blank unit circle, and you had to fill it in yourself. If you can do that, that's step one to being able to do everything in this. You know how to be able to find sine and cosine on the unit circle. So remembering that sine is our y values and cosine is our x values. That's another thing we focus on 2 learning objectives this unit. And the last thing you need to do is be able to find the smallest positive co-terminal angle. That's what we focused on in the previous learning objective. And then putting all this stuff together, you can find the sine and cosine of any angle that I give you. So let's look at an example. All right, sine of 9 pi over 4. All right, let's just say you were lucky and you had the unit circle in front of you. All right, you're not going to have that for this skill check. You have to do it yourself. All right, but sine of 9 pi over 4. 9 pi over 4 is the angle. That's my angle. So I'm going to find that on the unit circle, and you'll notice 9 pi over 4 is not on there. So if it's not on there, what I do is find its co-terminal angle. And this is what we learned in the previous learning objective. I can take 9 pi over 4, and I can subtract 2 pi from it. At 2 pi, I multiply the top and bottom by 4 to get that's 8 pi over 4. And that gives me pi over 4. So sine of 9 pi over 4. 9 pi over 4 and pi over 4 are co-terminal angles, so their sines are going to be the same. One very common mistake is students will just say the answer is pi over 4, but the answer is not pi over 4. We're just saying that 9 pi over 4 and pi over 4 are related. And now we find the sine of pi over 4. That's one of our special angles in the first quadrant, and that is the square root of 2 over 2. All right, so this is our final answer, the square root of 2 over 2. All right, all of your answers should be one of those special angles on the outside, or special values on the outside of the unit circle. This one very similar, 29 pi over 6. I'm picturing in my head the unit circle, and 29 pi over 6 is not on there because it's too big. So what I'm going to do is subtract 2 pi, which is 12 pi over 6, and I multiply the top and bottom by 6. 29 minus 12 is 17. 17 pi over 6, still not on the unit circle, so I do it again. And 17 minus 12 is 5 pi over 6. All right, so 5 pi over 6, that's one less than the bottom, so I know that's in quadrant 2, which means my cosine is going to be negative, and 5 pi over 6 is going to be square root of 3 over 2. Again, if you have your unit circle kind of memorized, or you can produce it again, you're just looking at the 5 pi over 6 and figuring out the x value at that point. The other way to remember it is it's related to pi over 6, the only difference being it's negative because it's in quadrant 2. All right, sine of negative 10 pi over 3. Automatically, I know this is not going to be on my unit circle because everything's positive on the unit circle. So I'm going to take negative 10 pi over 3. In this case, I'm going to add 2 pi to it. So I want to get to a positive angle. Oops, 6 pi over 3. Negative 4 pi over 3. Still not a positive angle, so I'll do it again. And we get sine of 2 pi over 3. All right, 2 is one less than the bottom, so that means I'm in quadrant 2. So my sine value is going to be positive, and it's related to pi over 3, where sine is the square of 3 over 2. So just using all these different things together, right, knowing that negative 10 pi over 3 is related to 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3 is in quadrant 2, and then I can use my kind of unit circle knowledge from there. Cosine of 13 pi over 4. All right, this is one for you to try on your own. And the answer you should get is the negative square root of 2 over 2. So this is actually your final answer. But how did we get there? We recognize that 13 pi over 4 is related to 5 pi over 4. 5 pi over 4, that number is 1 bigger than the bottom, so that's in quadrant 3. And in quadrant 3, my cosine is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. All right, so for this learning objective, we're going to complete a skill check. It's going to be 4 problems just like we did in this video. All right, 4 problems just like the ones on the practice worksheet. All right, but you have to do it without the unit circle, so you can either produce it by yourself or just use kind of your knowledge of the unit circle. All right, but you're not going to be able to use the unit circle as a reference for this learning objective, so it's really kind of going through everything you had to know for Unit 11 and putting it into a single skill check.